Hi, I'm Steve, welcome to the channel and the Honda Hornet Café racer build. If you're new to the channel, this is a budget build. I'm trying to do everything cheaply and keeping all the costs down, so I'm reusing things where I can and buying things on the internet from the cheapest places I can find. One of the things we're going to be doing today to save some money is altering the footrest hangers. Aluminium rear sets, billet aluminium rear sets, which I haven't got the capabilities to make, are quite expensive, so I'm going to alter them, see if we can make them look a bit nicer and save some money. There's a few other little jobs, bits and pieces to be getting on with, nothing major, and an update on how the tank's going. It's cold again, so I'll get the heater cranked up and let's crack on. One of the things I wanted to sort out this week is this. I was considering trying to get the ignition in here somewhere, possibly cutting the top in and dropping that in there so that I could have the ignition key under there, but it would have spoiled my tray, it would have got in the way, and I was concerned that even with a short stubby key you would be hitting it and you might snap it. So I could have got it into there and down lower, but I've hummed and hawed about it. I've backed off that idea. So what I need to do now is tidy this up, and there is a weld point just there, and all the rest of that is redundant. So when I looked, that from the frame, from the end of the tank to the weld point, looks just a nice angle, so I am going to cut that off there to align with this. I'm going to cut that there, so I'll blend that weld, and what I'm going to make is a little trim piece that goes like that and boxes all that in. It might just be a flat piece. I might go for something that boxes it in completely. Might go for a removable one that's like made of aluminium that looks a bit nicer. I might just box all that in with steel. I haven't completely decided yet, but I have got to cut this off before I get this train, so I've got a bit more access. So now that's cut, I'll dress all that up later and weld a little piece on when I've got the frame all ready to go with all the other welding. And I'll continue with little brackety things later. Another thing I want to do is the footrest hangers, the rear sets. They are huge. I've been talking to someone on Instagram, one is not available, and he said they were like boat anchors. Now I'm going to have no rear seat, no passenger capability, so rather than just going out and spending a few £100 on new aluminium rear sets, which I may have to do, I haven't got the capabilities to make them, but I thought I could try cutting these down. There is a natural sort of cut line, clean them up, see what they look like. Maybe use some metal filler if it's required, metal body filler. Tidy all them up. Once they're painted, should look pretty good. We'll see. So that's one of the little jobs. One of the things I've been doing is weighing everything, so when eventually I put it all back together, I'll be able to see how much weight I've saved. So doing that, and as I say, there is a natural cut line, so I'm going to cut them there. Obviously got to keep that and that's for the rear brake, so somewhere around there I want the sort of thickness, so I'll start off by probably just cutting it off there and cutting it off about there, just to leave me a bit of extra. And I may cut all of this out, well, that bit, that's where that silly reflector thing was. And the same on this side, this one's a bit more, cut that one out down there and then off by about there. If I hollow that out, so then you'd basically have the two triangles. Don't need any of that. And we'll see what that looks like. If it doesn't work, you see there that on the back there, that is the natural cut-off point, but then that's only going to be quite thin, so I might have to build that up with some sort of metal. But I'm going to cut that off and we'll see what that looks like. I've pre-drilled this just to drill out the corner and a couple of holes where I think it's going to be, and I'm going to cut this out with the jigsaw. I think it should manage that. Right, so dress that out. That's looking better already. So the footrests are cut down and cleaned up. I still need a little bit more work, just getting some of the little casting marks off, but they are pretty good. Last night I filled the one that had a little bit of cutout in it. It needs a bit more filler in, it's just sagged back a little bit, but that's looks quite good. I used powder coatable metal filler. This will stand 200 degrees, so it should be okay to be powder coated. It's semi-conductive. I'm probably not going to powder coat the footrests, I'll probably just paint them, but it gives me the option of powder coating them. As I say, there's a couple of little casting marks. I've got to clean them up, degrease them. I'll clean all that up, tidy them up, and then give them a spray over with some primer. But I think I'm quite happy with them. I'll show you a photograph of them before and after now. Right, take a better look. So that is what they look like now. So they go on the bike, basically like that. So you can say to fill the top of that one, because you do see the top of that one. But they look quite good. Weight wise, this one was 863 grams, and you can see now 354 grams, so over 500 grams, so over half a kilo saved. I mean, these are the pieces that came off, big chunks. And this one was 781 grams, is now 262, so over half a kilo of that one. So there's a kilo of weight saved on them two footrests alone. I'm going to leave it there for today. It's getting cold again. Yeah, as you can see, footrests have come out quite good. This one for the left hand side may need some sort of heel guard. I'll look at that. Might be able to, where I filled it, I might actually grind that out and put a aluminium heel guard in. I'll have to look at that. I was going to make a bracket for this light, which I have actually started doing, almost complete, but as I'm completing it, I've decided I'm going to change it and do another one, or make another one. So I'm going to leave that for the next episode. Fuel tank, I filled it and then I ground it back and then filled it again, and I've just smoothed it all up So I'm going to check all that, make sure everything's okay. I know that the petcock goes on, I've tried it. I'll blend all that in, maybe with trying to leave as much of the material as possible, maybe put a little bit more in. You obviously don't see any of this. And then I'll blend that in nice, and then I'll mask off, maybe it's next time, mask off and primer up all the bottom of the tank, stop it getting any worse. The dent wise, I carried on messing about, and you can see it's virtually gone, but you can see these bits where I whooped it over wet and dry, there seems to be like little ripples in it. I mean, you can't even feel them when you run your finger over it, but I'm just wondering whether it's ever going to be good enough to actually polish. It's a shame. It's only really this section, the rest of the tank looks pretty good, but as you start to sand it, you realise it isn't as flat as you think. So it may end up getting filled anyway and painted, but I've learned, it's something I've learned, so it's not too bad. Down here I can feel now, it feels like there's a couple of little marks, nothing. And I mean, when you filled it, you would just sand them over, but you can feel like as you go over, little bumps, just little bumps here and there around the side. It's nothing, and say with a coat of paint on you wouldn't even see it. But I'm just thinking maybe it's not going to be good enough to polish. I'll carry on with that, and we'll see how it comes out, and then worst case I have to put some filler over it and paint it. But that's it for this time. So next time I will do the light bracket. I'll show you both brackets that I've made, maybe people can decide which one they prefer. I'll continue with the tank, and I might make a little heel plate for this, and then we're getting to the point of stripping the bike down and welding in the under tray, doing all the welding, cleaning off any brackets and getting the frame away for powder coating. So that's it for this week, and I will see you next Wednesday.